Particular story, the Constitutional Court has dismissed an application by the Electoral Commission of South Africa to postpone the 27 October municipal elections. The Apex Court today ruled that elections have to take place between the 27th of October and the 1st of November this year. To debate what this means for political parties, independent candidates and the electorate, I'm joined by Nhogo Solo from the Abatsha Force of Change, and later we will speak to Terry Zelane, who is the chairperson of the Institute of Election Management Services, as well as legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala. Good evening to you, Nhogo, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Let's talk about what this means for your political party.
Thank you so much, Bongi. Greetings to you and your viewers. I'm excited, basically, on two accounts. Excited as an independent candidate, excited for my organization that we actually won. It's a victory. But above all, we are excited for the community, a community that has been suffering for too long from the governance incompetence, from the governance corruption. And so we also would like to thank organizations like Forum for Service Delivery, lawyers like Philip Mechanic, who came to party when we were crying about the fact that elections should continue, with full understanding that we don't have funding to be actually confronting the court. They were able to stand up and actually stand for the voices of young people.
Talk to us then about some of the concerns that are emanating tonight on whether or not the IEC can ensure that these elections are free and fair.
I think it's important. IEC has echoed for a long time that they're ready for elections. We're not sure how the distraction came about, but at this point, the court has actually instructed them to continue with the elections. I think they should ensure that they're free and fair. They have gone through the test and trial during the by-elections. During COVID-19, they ensured that they have full health protocols. So I think it's mandatory for them to ensure that the elections are free and fair. But most importantly, I think they should go with the court ruling that says that they must make time to ensure that we have what we call a register to vote weekend. And they must indicate within 3 working days if it's possible for them to do so. But I think it's vital for them to do so, knowing that young people are the biggest, the dominating population in our society. And they know for a fact that as we're sitting here right now, young people haven't registered to vote. So they should make it a priority that the young people actually register to vote.
Let's look then at, one other issue that has been of grave concern, and that's the issue of the vaccination drive, which appears to have also slowed down, especially in various parts of South Africa. How then do we ensure that, as a country, we hold safe elections? Because people may simply decide not to go to polling stations because they do not want to be sick.
No, that's true. I think what is important is that, firstly, we should conscientize people about special voting, especially those who are in fear of the COVID-19 as a pandemic. So we must let them know that they don't have to go and queue on the day of voting. They can register to vote for special voting. But also, the health protocols can be put to place. Social distancing, wearing of masks, it's very important. We should also acknowledge as a country that even now, we are having a lower number of cases that we are actually experiencing. So we should actually be excited about that. There's a lot of propaganda around the issue of vaccines. There's a lot of uncertainty whether it's good or bad. We don't know whether it's 100% safe or it's not. But what is important at this stage is that we continue to wear our masks, we continue to do social distancing, we continue to take care of ourselves. But most importantly, if people are really tired of the ills of the society, they should ensure that they register to vote, and if possible, they should consider special voting.
As a final question, what happens then to those that have decried, the system, saying that they were finding themselves in an unfortunate situation where they experienced system glitches, one of them being the ANC?
No, we know for a fact that ANC did not experience the system glitches. I mean, their Secretary General alluded to us that everything went well, they registered, and then all of a sudden the story turned around and they changed and they said 30 municipalities were not registered. We know that they're experiencing objections. I, for myself, live in Ward 82. We know that there's an objection with their councillor candidates. And so we know that it's not just only about registration, but it's also about the objections that they're experiencing because of the factions that they have, because of the corruption that they have within their organization. But I think IEC should remind itself that law is not above anyone. So the deadline has been reached. And sorry, I mean, it happened to IFP a few years ago when they couldn't contest elections because they missed the deadline. And if you miss the deadline, let's have special elections where we don't have ANC in the ballot paper. No one dies. In fact, we are desperate for change in our society.
All right, thank you so much for your time. That is Nhogo Solo. She is from the Abatsha Force of Change.